Good evening or good morning, whatever time it is you're listening to this podcast. Back in the saddle again. It's been a long time since I put out a podcast, and I don't know, it's been a long time since I've done one by myself. As soon as I turn this camera on, I feel like my glasses just start fogging up. Yeah. If I sound a little crispier in this one, which I hope I do, it's because I got myself a cloud lifter. Ooh, move the microphone here. And I've had it for a little while, about 2 months now. I haven't used it. So here I am with all this equipment, and I haven't been putting out content. But giving it a shot, man. I'm always coming up with excuses of why I'm tired and I ain't got enough time or this or that. But, you know, I got all this stuff. It's stuff I like to do, so I might as well put in the time to do it, you know. Lose a little sleep if I got to. Wait till my daughter's in bed. It's just part of the game. Part of the game. If you're new to my channel, if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're new to my podcast and you're listening to it, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to it at, I thank you for checking out my channel or my podcast or both, whatever. So this one, I actually jotted down some notes and tried to make it not so boring and all over the place. This one I kind of wanted to touch on being a single parent. Being a single father. I mean, single moms can relate to this too, I'm sure. But to get this thing kicked off, I guess I kind of wanted to start with, if you're watching this on video, you see me looking down, it's because I got my notes here. I kind of wanted to start about talking about just to jump right into it, when I became a single parent. Shortly after I got out of the military, I met the mother of my child. While she was pregnant, we didn't work out. I'm not going to get into a whole bunch of details about all of that, particularly today. I might not ever get into it because it's a lot. But anyways, we separated while she was still pregnant. And I was unaware of when my daughter was going to be born. I was unaware of if it was going to be a him or her. I was unaware of her name, all that stuff. I found out through social media, all that stuff. And basically, I didn't have any rights to my daughter, and I kind of fought my way into it. And I got custody of her when she was 9 months old. That's when I became a single parent. And to be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to happen that fast, so I wasn't 100% ready for it. I mean, I wanted it, but I didn't know. I mean, I've been around kids my whole life, but I wasn't sure of what to do. I mean, a 9-month-old baby. I mean, straight up just being a single dude, and then now you're a single dad, like overnight pretty much. It was a bit of a shock to the system. Definitely a shock to the system. When I picked her up, I really didn't have much for her. I made a post on Facebook and said, "Hey, you know, I got custody of my daughter. She's coming home with me today. I ain't got much for her. You know, if anybody's got anything they're willing to throw my way, you know, just hit me up." And I was very surprised at the willingness to help from the community around me. I mean, I would wake up in the morning and there would just be stuff on my front porch, you know, like I had no idea. Some of these people even knew where I lived, but they did. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff, clothes, car seats, all kinds of stuff. But when I first picked her up, I literally didn't have anything. I mean, I had a car seat, but that was it. I didn't have bottles. I wasn't supplied with anything. Now, I didn't pick her up from her mother. I picked her up from somewhere else. But, yeah, so as soon as I picked her up, I drove straight to Winn-Dixie because I knew automatically she's going to need diapers, bottle, and formula. For sure, that's what she needs, and diaper wipes. So I get to Winn-Dixie, and I'm walking around looking at all this formula. And if you don't know much about formula, there is quite a wide selection and variety of different type of formulas you can get. So just imagine, if you know who I am or whatever, just imagine me standing in the aisle looking at formula, holding a 9-month-old baby with probably one of the most puzzled looks you'll ever see me have. And luckily there was a little old lady. She walked by the aisle, and then she did a double take and was like, "Hey, excuse me, son. Do you mind if would you be offended if I would ask to help you out? Would you?" And I was like, "No, man. Please, please. I don't know what I'm doing." So thankfully, she hooked me up and helped me pick out the right stuff. I don't know who she was, but I'll forever be thankful that she did that. That was basically the opening door to my single parent endeavor here. Now my daughter is 7. I guess you can say 7.5. And it's been nothing but a learning experience ever since that day. I can say that it taught me a lot off the bat. It taught me all kinds of things. Kind of the first things I learned, obviously, a lot of people kind of know how to change diapers and stuff, but I had to deal with, a few times her having diaper rashes. I had to figure out where she was going to sleep. At first, I didn't want her to sleep by herself. I wanted her to sleep in my bed, which, eventually got to put them in the crib, let her do their own thing. So I did that, got her a crib, got her set up in in her own room. And back then, she would go to sleep in the dark because she hadn't learned of anything to be scared of yet. It's kind of crazy when you're looking at little kids, little babies, and no, like they don't know how to be scared yet. They don't know all kinds of things. They're just figuring stuff out. And even when she started walking and stuff, so I do work out some, so I know some technique and form when you're doing things. But I used to watch her, and I watch her like when she picked something up, she'd squat down and do like a perfect deadlift form, and it was just natural. That's something that you have to teach people, grown-ups, how to do, because they've gotten out of I guess they kind of forgot that. They've gotten out of practice. So you got to teach them those natural basic movements to make sure that they don't hurt themselves. But she automatically, that's just what babies do. It's just natural to them. I mean, some of the lessons I learned at the very beginning was obviously when they're that little, you got to sleep when they sleep. Many times you're taking a nap in the middle of the day, up part of the night, up a couple times during the night. Luckily, it didn't take her long to where she was sleeping pretty much all night, but they still nap quite a bit, and it's exhausting. So you be taking a nap right along with them. I remember waking up one day, sleeping on the couch. She was asleep, and she got up before me, and she decided she was going to wake me up with a nice slap in the face. I'll never forget that. It scared the crap out of me, but what are you going to do? When you're looking at a little baby and she sees you jump awake and she's just happy as all get out that you're awake, get some kind of reaction out of you. That's something that that's a big, I guess you would say, lesson to learn. Take that time when your kid is sleeping to take a nap. I mean, I know sometimes you want to do some things while they're asleep, but then you'll be kicking yourself in the butt later when you're up and they're up and you're tired and you want to take a nap or you want to go to sleep, but you can't because you were up earlier while they were sleeping and you were doing whatever you need to do, laundry or whatever. But you got to take them naps. Naps are big. Naps are huge. That was definitely one of the biggest lessons, them naps. I mean, I'm sure there's more in there. I just can't think of them right now. Obviously, as soon as I hit record on the camera, my brain just goes out the window. Let's see here. Next thing I got down here is what hardships came with being a single parent. And I will tell you that basically one of the hardest things was managing. You gotta have somebody to watch your kid while you work, unless you're blessed with a bunch of money, you don't need to work. That was real tough. You don't want to trust just anybody with your kid. And if you're like me, my family situation isn't the greatest, so I don't really have many people to depend on. So that in the early stages was I was in quite the predicament. Couple of times, ended up losing jobs just because I just could not get a babysitter. People don't want to hear that. An employer, a lot of times they don't want to hear that crap because, people use it all the time. I can't come to work because I have a babysitter. Well, when it's really life, I mean, You just got to do what you got to do. And I mean, if you ain't got nobody watch your kid, you don't have nobody watch your kid. And unfortunately, sometimes your employment suffers from that. And you got to kind of, I don't know, roll with the punches. That was one of the biggest. Let me get this thing. That was one of the biggest struggles I had at the beginning. Well, that, and it's very expensive when it comes to buying diapers and formula. I went through the WIC program. I don't know if any of you have ever dealt with that, but it can help a lot. I ended up having a friend that she had a kid and she was breastfeeding and she was on WIC. So what she was doing was getting all her formula every month and just giving me all of it. So that helped so much because that stuff is not cheap. You would think it would be, but no, not cheap. And I don't miss the bottle feeding at all. I don't miss none of that. I mean, you're constantly cleaning bottles. You're going through a bunch of them, the leaks and this and that, diaper bags, all that stuff. I mean, not a good time, but when you look back on it, it's almost like you're putting in your time. You're doing what you're supposed to do. So you look back at it and you're proud of, stepping up and doing what you needed to do back then. But man, when you're in the middle of changing a crappy diaper at a park somewhere, no fun. Speaking of going to the bathroom and changing diapers. So I obviously am a dude. My daughter is obviously a girl. So potty training a girl was, it was a little weird trying to teach her to pee in the potty. What I ended up doing, and it lasted for a long time because my bathroom door wouldn't lock. Sometimes she busts in. So in order to keep things safe, what I would do, I had her little potty right next to mine, and I'd go in there. She'd go in there. I'd sit down on the toilet, and I'd go pee. Obviously, she couldn't see nothing. Keep everything covered up. And she sat down on her potty next to me, and after a while, she would start to go pee too. And, I'd pretend to wipe, and I'd give her what she needed to wipe with, and that's the way that went. So for years, I sat down to pee as a grown-ass man in my own house. The funny part is sometimes I would be at work and I have to go to the bathroom and I would be like, dang. I noticed that I would be starting to sit down to pee instead of using the urinal. And I'd have to remind myself, hold on now. I'm a damn dude. I can't stand up and pee like a man. Like, sometimes I just wouldn't think about that stuff. But for years, I sat down to pee. 4 years. And I mean, it worked, though. I mean, she learned how to pee and poop and everything on the potty. Just like, I mean, I guess it same thing as it would happen if she was learning from her mama or from a mom. Sleep struggle with a baby. That was the next thing I had on the list. I kind of already talked about that. Some parents are not blessed with kids that sleep very well. Some kids, and it depends on what phase in life they are, because I know the younger they are, obviously when they're 2 months old, they're only going to sleep maybe 2 hours, and they're up 2 hours, sleep 2 hours, up 2 hours, almost like fire guard when you're in the army. You sleep an hour, up an hour, sleep an hour, up an hour. That's kind of the way it worked. It was just one of those things. Sleep when your baby sleeps. That's all you can take from that, because if you don't, you're going to be dog ass tired. And the next thing I got on my list here to talk about was kind of dating as a single parent. Well, that's a tough one because pretty much the whole time I've had my daughter, I've been single. So she's 7 years old now. So I've pretty much been single the whole time except for one little stint with somebody. She didn't have any kids though, so sometimes that can get weird. I found that there's a lot of women out there that if they don't have kids, they don't understand. And it's probably the same way with men. They don't understand that your time, they're only going to get a little piece of it. I mean, your kid's going to come first. Your kid's going to require a lot of time. And they don't mean to be selfish, but you don't get a lot of alone time when you're a single parent. So it makes dating a little hard, especially if you're dating somebody that doesn't have kids. Now, if you may meet someone that has kids and they kind of understand that dynamic of, well, we can't always have us time. It's part of the game. You don't have to deal with having the kids around all the time. That's just how it is. I mean, I've ran a couple girls off that way because they would get mad because of that exact reason, because I didn't have enough time to just devote to just me and them. But that's just, I mean, that's part of being a parent. You know, when you become a parent, your kid becomes your number one priority. Any dating, any love life or whatever, that's definitely takes a back seat to it, in my opinion. I mean, ain't nobody coming between me and my daughter. Nobody's gonna be above her ever. So dating as a single parent, tough. At the end of the day, it's tough. Even if you're dating a parent that's got kids. The next thing I noted down here were things that make you feel guilty as a single parent. So like when you buy things, for a long time, and I still kind of do. It's still something I kind of do. Say if I'm going down to Walmart or whatever you have where you're at, and I need to go buy some things, or mainly it's when I buy something that I want that I kind of feel guilty if I don't buy her something with that. And that was a tough thing to get control of, because I would be coming home anytime I had to buy myself something, I had to buy her something. I mean, I still kind of do, so I haven't completely rid myself of that, but that's definitely something that I felt guilty of a lot. If I went to buy something that wasn't a 100% necessity, if it was more of a want, that's when I really feel guilty. Like, man, here I am. I bought, say, whatever it was. I bought some clothes. I didn't buy nothing for her. You know, you gotta go get her some clothes, toys, or something. That's the way I felt about it, anyways. And the other thing I felt guilty for is time. So, as a single parent, you feel like there's something you need, and that's like you time. You know, time to go to the gym, time to work out, time to, even if it's just to go read a book or go out to dinner with your friends or something. Like, you need some kind of you time. It sounds weird because you want to be a good parent and you want to be always there, but I think, I'm not a professional, but I think there's something therapeutic to having some you time, because it's stressful being a parent and having just a tiny little bit of break, even if it's just an hour or something like that. You want a little bit of a break so that you can kind of reset your bearings or whatever. I mean, you just need a bit of a breather, no matter what it is. Swimming, working out, like I said, going hang out with your friends for an hour or something, just going shopping, doing whatever. But I would feel guilty about going to the gym or even just working out whenever I got home from work, because you think, if you're working let's say you're working a 9 to 5, your kid's at school during the day, and you get somebody that can pick them up or whatever and watch them till you get off work. Say you get home 6:00, right? And then you want to go to the gym. So you go to the gym from 6 to 7:30, and you come home, then you pretty much got to get your kid ready for bed. Then you feel like you just kind of did some selfish stuff to satisfy you. You almost feel like you neglected your kid, but honestly, you need that kind of stuff. And that's something I still, to this day, struggle with. But one thing I found that I've done that kind of helps me is, me and my buddies will go fishing. Well, we haven't right now. The weather's been a little weird, but obviously when it's cold, you don't want to go out there. But we try to go fishing just about every weekend, at least. At least at least every 2 weeks we go fishing. So that's something, that's kind of my time away, my time to get in what I want to do. Her mom gets her every other weekend. So if you're co-parenting and you have something set up like that, that's kind of good. You know, you get that weekend to yourself to do what you need to do, even though those weekends are always tough. They're always tough for me because I leave for work on Friday and I don't see her until Sunday. You know, it kind of sucks, but you know, you get time to do what you need to do, even if it's just cleaning up around the house. That's a real a real golden thing. I mean, to have you time. You can be the best parent in the world, but if you don't have you time, I mean, it's just it can be so stressful, so stressful. So it's very important to have you time. You got to find something, sometime in the day or in the week to do something that you want to do. It's very, very crucial, in my opinion, to have some me time as a single parent. You got to. So the other thing, well, I guess this kind of goes in with it when I say budgeting time. Budgeting time can be tough. It can be tough whenever you, like I just mentioned a while ago about going to work, then going to the gym, then now you ain't got a lot of time with your kid. Well, you got to find time to do everything because your life requires all kinds of stuff. Laundry, dinner, breakfast, getting them up for school, all that kind of stuff. You got to try to. I really struggle with budgeting time. I really do. It's one of the toughest things to me to manage because maybe I just get lazy or I just kind of contemplate things. Procrastinate is a better word for it. I procrastinate things too much and my time gets all out of whack. So then a lot of times there's things I want to do that I don't end up doing. Kind of like this podcast right here, right? I had to tell my daughter, all right, go stay in there, kind of chill for a little while I can go record this podcast. But a lot of times I find myself, even if I want to, I think, dang, I don't want to take this time to me to go record this podcast when I'm hanging out with my daughter, even if she's just sitting with me while I'm watching my shows or something. But yeah, budgeting time has been that can be a very tough thing to do, and I feel like I'm kind of rambling on. I feel like I am, but whatever. I'm here. This is what I'm doing, rambling. Another thing I wrote down here is how have my true friends embraced my daughter as being part of my life. And that's one thing that I'm thankful for is that my best friends, they've kind of adopted her as they're almost like her daggone uncles, uncles. They're like her uncles now. Grant buys her stuff every year for Christmas and her birthday. I mean, she's part of the family. I'm like his brother, and she's attached to me, so she's attached to him too. Hell, halftime when he comes around, she'll try to hang out with him over me. Drives me nuts, but whatever. That's just the way kids are. But then you also, the people that you think are your real good friends, you kind of find out that they're just acquaintances because you can't have the time to go do all the stuff they like to do, partying or whatever. You got a kid at home. Sometimes blows my mind, but sometimes there's people with kids, more than one, more than two, more than three. They're out partying every night, doing whatever they want to do. How they do it, I don't know. Not going to judge their character, but I can tell you that being a single parent means you can't hang out with them people all the time doing all kinds of stuff like that. And you don't want to bring your kids around everybody. So that's that actually goes kind of back to the dating thing, dating as a single parent. You got to be, if you're dating as a single parent, you got to be very selective on who you bring around your kids. Because your kids are very impressionable, you don't want them to think like, oh man, my dad, he's bringing 6 different girls over, but then you don't want to bring a specific person over that is going to end up being toxic. So what I try to do is it's kind of a rule where if I'm going to meet someone, I meet them on my own terms, where it's a kid-free day, like when she's at her mom's or something like that, or even you can get a babysitter and go out to eat with somebody if you're going to meet up with them for the first time or whatever. Get to know them a little bit before bringing them around your kids, because, I mean, you got to remember, man, your kid is everything to you. And last thing you want to do is jeopardize their feelings over trying to date someone. You got to really vet that person before you let them into your kid's life, in my opinion. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm just learning this stuff every day. So that's just the way I feel about it. You really got to be very selective over who you bring around your kids, for sure. That can make dating tough because some people don't want to hear that. Oh, you want to hang out? Well, all right. Well, how about in about 10 days when I'm getting free, we can hang out. But you got to be very selective over who you have around your kids. At the end of the day, I feel like that should be a rule. What's my biggest fear as a single parent? Well, I've molded myself to be a different person than I used to be. And I always think of the things I remember from my parents as a kid, and I don't want my kid to remember me in the same light that I remember them at different stages. So I'm not talking about my grandparents. They were great, but like my dad or whatever. It's just I really try to go out of my way to make sure that, like I said, they don't remember me as I remember my parents. And I try to do as much positive stuff around her so that she can pick up on the genuine person I am and pick up on that type of behavior. I really hope that that's something that carries on with her, later on in life, something that she can adopt. And she's actually a really good kid. And a lot of people, I get compliments all the time as to how good my daughter is. So I hope that kind of thing sticks with her for a while. My biggest fear is for her to remember me in a negative light at any bit. I don't ever want that to be something that she remembers me by. So I try my hardest to lay a nice clean road for our past and our future so that she remembers me as a good parent. And it's stressful whenever you think about being a good parent because it ain't always easy. And sometimes you doubt yourself. You doubt if you're doing the right thing. But the only thing you do is try. I can tell you one of the hardest things being a parent is telling your kids no. They don't understand that, you can't buy them everything they want. So that's something my daughter, because she's kind of spoiled. I'm a single parent. She's my only kid. Excuse me when I take a sip of this water. I don't want to be chugging in the microphone. Hey, Shabby. Huh? Yep. You want to say hi? Say about hi. My name is Chevy.
My name is Chevy.
Smile for it. All right.
App Store.
Where's your app store?
On the App Store. Okay, yeah, you.
Love you too. Bye.
Yeah.
So like I was saying before my daughter busted in here, telling your kids no, that can be kind of tough. Especially when it's toys or something they really want. Now that she's older, it's like iPad apps, or Robux or whatever. But you gotta tell them no sometimes. Thankfully, although she still gets a little upset about it, thankfully she can understand that I don't have the money to buy everything she wants, and I've let her know that by letting her buy things with her own money, so she knows like, oh, I only have $7, so I can't buy this $20 pack of Robux characters or whatever. So she kind of understands it, but still, it's tough because you don't ever want to upset your kids, but you got to. It's something you gotta do. So yeah, my biggest fear as a parent, that was already talked about that. And I guess I'm going to keep this one. This is going to be a pretty short one. It's not too crazy. Even though I feel like I rambled on, whatever. It's just what I do. Ramble. I'm a rambler. So tips. What tips do I have for any single parents? The big golden rule, like I said earlier. My number one tip to any single parent out there is to take time for yourself. Take time to go work out. Take time to go shopping. Take time to go read. Take time to go, heck, even if it's just some time away from your kid, to just go watch YouTube videos or Netflix. You got to take some time to do something for yourself, because it can be exhausting being a single parent, and you need that time. You definitely do. It helps. It works wonders. It does. Another thing, which something that I kind of struggle with from time to time, is being organized. You got to figure out a rhythm for what you're doing and kind of figure out a plan and try to organize yourself as best you can. Some people plan meals throughout the week as to what they're going to cook for dinner or whatever, but I get kind of all over the place. That's something I want to work on, is being more organized as a parent. Two biggest tips. Well, I guess there'd be a third one if you're dealing with a little baby. Sleep when they sleep. But definitely want to get some time to yourself. But anyway, I think that's about all I got for this one. This is gonna be a little short one. I feel like I said, I rambled on. Don't want to make it too much longer. Sorry if I bored you. But it's been a minute since I made one. I'm hoping to start doing this a little bit more. I really don't have an excuse as to why I'm not doing it. So there you go. I got all this equipment. It's just been sitting back here, not doing anything. Who does that? Who buys all this stuff and just doesn't use it? It doesn't do me any good. I thought I was investing in myself. My autofocus keeps jumping all over the place. But anyways, thanks for listening. If you stuck through the whole thing, I really appreciate it. If you're listening to this on any podcast platforms, definitely give it a rating of some sort. I don't know, whatever thing you're listening to, if it has a thumbs up, thumbs down, just give it a like. If you liked it, that is. And if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on YouTube, definitely give it a like. And like I said, it's on all your major podcast platforms, your Spotify, your Apple Podcasts. I might even be on Amazon, Stitcher. I'm all over the place. In fact, if you Google search, this was kind of funny. I did this the other day just to check it out. I went to Google and I just searched Really Regular Guy. And my podcast was the very first thing to pop up. So that made me feel excited. But anyways, it's the Really Regular Guy podcast. That's my channel. And if you are listening to this on a podcast, because I know through my analytics that there are people all over the place that listen to my stuff, which is not here. If you don't know, I do have a YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube and search Really Regular Guy and you will find me. Just look for a bald-headed guy with a beard and some tattoos. You'll see me. I should probably be one of the first things that pops up. But anyways, like I said, thank you guys for listening and watching. I hope everybody has a good day, evening, night, weekend, whatever time it is. Until next time, I'm out.